Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for more solo leveling Ragnarok. Let's go ahead and get started. I see you, Cohagen. I see you, Philipdu. What it do? Let's begin. Yo, peoples, Qushu92 here. Sorry for being a little bit late. I wanted to go ahead and get the boys' feeding taken care of. And by boys, I mean our dogs. I don't have kids, even though that has been a question that has been posted to me before because I wasn't exactly specific when I said boys. But we're back with more solo leveling Ragnarok because in the last chapter, we had Thomas Andre coming to the Korean Hunters Association in order to put forth a proposal, but it wasn't really much of a proposal. It was more so, we're going to take you for everything you have, and you can't ask for any help with this S-rank gate that's currently over Seoul. So, you know, Woo and everyone else knows that they're being strong-armed, because this is revenge for what happened to Randolph, and because of Suho's involvement in the matter that pretty much resulted in Randolph's death. But Suho ain't having none of this nonsense of his people being strong-armed, so he barges in, despite the fact that some very large dudes are trying to hold him back, and he says, so you think you just gonna roll in here and act like you somebody? I don't care who you are. Do you have any idea who I am? No, not really. And then it really pretty much just results, the altercation between both Suho and Thomas Andre results in the both of them looking at each other as if they ready to square off right now. And the thing is, Suho's looking at him like, what makes you think you can even beat me? And Thomas Andre takes off the shades. You know, it's serious when a big man takes his shades off. And he looks at him like, little brat. And then the whole room is filling up with their power as if they're ready to fight right here, right now. Now, my prediction was either Laura was going to come in and tell him that it's not worth it to destroy this building. It could result in damages and therefore sully the chances of them making this deal follow through. Or Suho will stop it. Or maybe even Woo would stop. Something that'll possibly stop them from fighting inside of this building. Because if Andre and Suho clash right now, building entire blocks are going to get destroyed. So let's see how things turn out with chapter 64. And it just cuts to Woo. Not how I thought this chapter was going to start. And it's Woo speaking. Also, apologies if my voice doesn't sound at 100%. I still got a little bit of a tickle in my throat from the past 2 days. I was sick. So apologies if it's not at that exact tone that I tend to do it a lot often. Thank you all for coming. Let's start with a quick rundown of our current action plan. The location of this particular gate poses an unusual challenge. We can provide planes to transport the raid team to the gate's entrance, but getting them back out will be a different story altogether. Once our team enters the dungeon, their electronic equipment will cease to function, and they will be left without an exit strategy. However, our observations have shown the gate to be in the process of making a slow but steady descent. As the gate approaches the critical point known as the dungeon break, it will continue dropping in altitude, until it eventually reaches a level accessible from the ground. We can use this knowledge to our advantage. The raid team will enter the gate via plane piloted by a fellow hunter. And it shows Suho inside the plane, then they get inside, Suho beats the boss, and then he just jumps outside. Okay, there's a weird period in between there and flight, and after their flight lands in the dungeon, the raid team will have 24 hours to defeat its boss, clearing the gate just as it reaches an altitude low enough to exit on foot. This is already sounding way too complicated.
Are you sure 24 hours will be enough time to take down an S-rank boss?
And then Thomas Andre, who's in this big conference room, speaks up. Hold up. The scavengers won't be traveling with your hunters. We'll find our own way in. No, Guildmaster Andre. This mission is simply too dangerous. We have to learn to cooperate if... You're the ones who suggested turning this into a competition.
First come, first serve for all gate rewards, remember? By the way, where'd Suho run off to? Don't tell me he chickened out.
I knew it. He's just itching to pick a fight with Suho. And Andre's just sitting there. How do you even cross your legs with your legs being that big? You should not be able to cross. You should not be able to sit up and prop your leg up on your other leg because your leg too big. How is your muscles flexing that way for you to just sit cross-legged like that? Your legs are too big, man! But yeah, Thomas Andre is just, he really wants to fight Suho. Miss Laura and I managed to stop them before things got out of hand yesterday. Oh, I knew Laura was gonna... I was right! At least one of my theories was right. At least one of my theories was right! But both Wu and Laura managed to calm down the situation. Miss Laura and I managed to stop them before things got out of hand yesterday. But I still don't want them to risk having them. I still don't want to risk having them in the same room. And then Park Dojin speaks up. Suho is off on a raid.
Working overtime right before a major mission? Typical rookie mistake. And who the heck are you?
My name is Park Dojin.
Oh, aren't you the S rank who awakened around the same time as Suho?
I'm honored that such a legendary hunter has heard about me.
Well, at least Korea's got one brat who seems to know his manners. Hit me up if you ever feel like changing guilds. Whatever they're paying you, I guarantee we can offer more.
And Lim Tae-gyu is in the background all like, please don't poach one of my people. Thank you. I'll give it some thought.
How about we flip a coin to decide who gets to enter the gate first? Heads, it'll be the scavengers. Tails, it'll be the Korean team. Everyone cool with that?
And he flips a coin. And then and as it starts to look like it's falling, Wu's looking, Bake's looking, Choi Jong-in's looking, Park is looking. And then Park smiles. And the coin bounces. And we switch from the meeting, the conference room with Wu and everyone, and we transition over to Arsha. You know, the heir of the Plague Monarch. And she's just smiling.
So, I hear you're joining the S-Rank raid team.
And then it shows Park who's looking at her, not saying anything. Didn't I tell you to quit spying on me?
I was spying on Suho. You just happened to enter my periphery.
Periphery? I don't use that word often. Kudos to me for actually getting it.
Suho's been raiding non-stop ever since he ran into that Thomas Andre. He's become obsessed with defeating him. Not that I'm complaining. At least it keeps him too busy to pay us any mind. But won't this be a great chance for you to cozy up to the heir of the shadow? You'll be teammates after all. Won't it be more fun to betray him after you've won him over?
I don't know enough about friendship to use it as a weapon.
Oh, right. You don't have any friends, do you? Aw, poor thing. We'll be going in as well, by the way.
Into the gate? Why?
Why not? We're the ones who created it after...
Oh, what? I'm sorry? They created the gate over Seoul? Okay, I learned something new today. They created this gate over Seoul. What?
Why not? We're the ones who created it after all.
And it shows Arsha, it shows Pita, and it shows the other heir in the background with his big old giant battle axe. What are you trying to say? That you can just make your own gates?
Yep.
Pia, not Pita.
Yep. Pia here.
Or Paya, I want to say Paya.
Pia here has the power to create gates. Ahem.
And then Paya stops because Arsha continues on, interrupting Paya.
But Paya hasn't exactly mastered this power yet. The sky thing was clearly a mistake. And I don't think it's supposed to be falling either.
There's no need to tell him everything, Arsha!
What a useful little creature you are. Can we use this power to create paths to other worlds?
And Paya is getting a little bit, frantic as Arsha continues.
Get real, not even the monarchs have that sort of power. Don't you dare try to steal Paya from me, or I'll march right over to Suho and tell him everything. But I'm still glad to hear you'll be at that gate. We finally have an opportunity to work as a team.
Sorry, but I've got my own business to take care of. My talk. Oh, God! Ah! My target is Thomas Andre. This is my chance to convert the famous one-man army and turn him into one of our followers.
First Lee Unsuk and now the one-man army. Aren't you moving a bit too fast? Fine. As long as you keep those hunters busy, we don't care what you do.
Let's just try to stay out of each other's way, okay? Let's just try to stay out of each other's way, okay? And then Park just walks away.
Oh my, aren't you going to ask why we created this gate?
Not interested. This relationship is based purely on profit. You never volunteered that information because you knew it would be of no use to me.
Aw, you're so cold. I just can't bring myself to like this guy.
And then a gate opens, and Park leaves. Okay, so we know Park's next target. He wants to jump from Lee Yun-suk all the way over to Thomas Andre himself. And then Paya speaks up.
Arsha, are you sure about teaming up with that guy? He is the apostle of Iterim, after all. I'm scared about what might happen if those Iterim guys actually pull off their world domination scheme. Plus, creating that gate took a huge toll on my body. Are you sure this system really knows what's best for us?
And while Paya says this, an actual visible crack appears on their face. I don't know if Paya's male or female. I don't know. Because, the dress is kind of androgynous. But a crack appears on their face, and like an actual chip of their face kind of falls off.
Are you sure this system really knows what's best for us?
And then Arsha pats him on the head.
Paya, don't you dare question the system ever again.
And Arsha, her face looks like it's cracking, but not in the same way as Paya's, as she, like her whole aura and her power just envelops the entire room, because she visibly threatens Paya.
Don't you dare question the system ever again. What a naughty child you are. I told you everything would work itself out, as long as we kept clearing our quests, didn't I? Remember when even the easiest gates used to be such a struggle for you? But now you've created the first S-rank gate this world has ever seen. Those quests are what got you this far. The system will help us grow into monarchs. I'm sure of it.
And then she just kneels down and hugs Paya.
You have to trust the system, Paya.
Oh, this is such an abusive mother type relationship. Don't you ever question me ever again!
You must listen to your mother.
That's the vibes I'm getting from this relationship.
You have to trust the system, Paya. After all, the system is what brought us together. You would still be lost and alone, drifting through the void between worlds, if a quest hadn't led me to you.
Oh, she's holding that over their heads. You would still be alone if the system hadn't led me to you. Oh, such manipulative guilt tripping. Sorry, family popped in. They're heading back out.
These quests will help us grow into monarchs, and then we'll both be invincible.
And then Paya crying, thinking, like, being emotionally manipulated. That's the thing. Being emotionally manipulated by this person. That's so nefarious. Hold on, let me get chat off over here to the side so I can make sure I see you guys. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah. Emotionally manipulating Paya.
I'm sorry, Arsha. I'll never doubt the system again.
That's right. You're a good kid, Paya.
And then the other monarch, other heir who hasn't said a single word, is still just chilling in the background with this really sick-looking bone-white battle axe he has over his shoulder.
Well then, looks like it's time.
And then a system message pops up in front of her.
To welcome a new member into our group.
Quest info. Quest, the Monarch's Path. You have successfully opened S-Rank Gate. Enter the gate and recruit the heir of the Frost Monarch as your next companion. Reward. Quest, the Monarch's Path 7.
So this is the voice I'm going to use for the system. This is going to be the voice I use for the evil red system. And then we get to a whole bunch of keep out tags outside as we get like a big plane and everyone preparing to get on the plane. The chapter's still going. And then we get Andre, and mind you, it's snowing. Let me say this again. It's snowing. Andre is still in his usual getup. Sandal, flip-flops, shorts, and an open Hawaiian shirt while it's snowing outside.
This is such a difficult raid that even the excavation squad won't be accepting anyone less than a B rank. For the first time in history, an S-rank gate is opened up in our world. Do you know what this means for us, Laura?
For you, Guildmaster, I don't imagine it could mean anything other than more power and profit.
Well, you're not wrong. But I see this as more of a symbolic moment. At the darkest hour, just when the world needs him most, a hero arrives to save the day. This is the stuff legends are made of.
And then someone is walking up behind Andre going, "Oh, were you hoping to become a... this is Laura going,
Oh, were you hoping to become a hero, sir?
Or rich. Money's great too.
And then the person who's stepping up behind Andre is Suho, and he stands right next to him.
Well, if it isn't Sung Suho. Not sure if you've already heard, but the scavenger won first dibs. Sorry about the head start. Try your best to catch up, alright?
And Suho just looks at him but doesn't say anything, and then just waves him off and walks ahead of him. And then just like his daddy! He walks off and goes, "It's fine, I'll give you that handicap." And then he says, "Okay, it's fine. I'll give you the handicap of going on ahead." But he walks up and says, "It's fine. I'll give you that handicap." And then Andre speaks to Laura as he's walking away going,
Laura, how many days has it been since we last saw that guy?
It's been 3 days, sir.
Have I gone crazy? Or has he really changed that much in just 3 days?
and Andre can't understand it, but he can tell that Suho has gotten even stronger in the last 3 days since they both met each other. And then it just shows the gate still in the sky, with Suho going, "So, this is what an S-rank gate looks like. It feels way more dangerous than any other gate I've experienced up until now." And then someone walks up behind Suho going, "Why so serious?" And Suho looks, and it's Choi. I thought we were ready for this. And then it shows Lim Tae-gyu, Ma Dong-wook, Baek Yoon-ho, and Choi Jong-in. And they're all wielding their heroic shadow items that Suho made for them. You don't seriously believe we'll lose to those scavenger bastards, do you? Even the A-rank guy in the background, he's got like a suit of armor that's made from shadow items too. And then Suho's looking at all of them in a very detailed panel going, of course not. And then Andre is looking, and he's smiling, but he's also bothered by this too. He's also bothered. He's like, like if I was twitching, it'd probably be doing that. But it shows Andre, it shows Park Dojin with his clearly controlled, we already know, controlled Lee Eun-suk, and a bug from Arsha that happens to be on the scene as well. And then the engines are whirring and the plane is already taken off as it flies directly towards the gate. Commencing operation, S-rank raid. And then it cuts to black, it fades to black. And next we see our plane parts all over the landscape. We're in a frozen tundra. Tons of trees all around. The plane has crashed all over. And Suho is laying on the ground. Laying on the ground amidst all of this rubble. Not saying a word, going, what the heck just happened? To be continued. Okay. All right. Fairly interesting. All right. Okay. Brazilian army is quite far away from their territory. Yeah, the plane does say, what is it? Brazilian Air Force? Yeah, Brazilian Air Force. That's the plane that they're using. Okay, so this is where we're at right now. They just flew into the gate. We got some subplots that are going on right now. So, the heir of the Frost Monarch is in that gate. And apparently, Paya's power is able to create gates. Up until the point where they are able to create the first S-rank gate of this entire environment. So, that's one thing. The other thing to take into consideration here is the fact that the Monarchs are going to be moving out, making their way into that gate as well, in order to recruit the heir of the Frost Monarch to their side. So we already have the heir of Yogumunt, I believe. We also have the heir of Keiresha, and we have the heir of whoever that person is in the back. So either probably the author is fond of that plane, maybe. Let me read what you guys have said. Flipdo, who are the boys? Oh yeah, Kenzo and Denim. I am here. Julian, I am here. Watashi ga kita. I am 100% sure Thomas can control his strength to perfection to actually decide which side will land. I would not be surprised if he is strong enough, if he has that capability where he can perfectly flip a coin where it will land exactly where he wants it to. Wouldn't even surprise me. From Lee Eun-suk to Thomas, that's a leap as huge as Buggy going from 15 million to 3.1 billion. Ain't it though? Huh, I just got this washed up S-rank who doesn't want to hunt anymore. Okay, I think I'm ready to take on the strongest hunter in the world. Surely that will just go along smoothly. That is to have that level of confidence. To have that level of confidence of, it worked on this S rank, surely it'll work on another. So I'm gonna go after the strongest one that exists. Just the sharp incline of difficulty. Okay, we have an S rank who's not at the top of their game, who doesn't want to hunt, no one has been able to convince them to come out of retirement or whatever little funk they're in right now, and then just go back to being a hunter again. Okay, I made them my slave. Now, the next person I want to go after is the person that is regarded as a one-man army. A man who goes everywhere in shorts and an open shirt. Even in a snowy area where there's snow and everyone's dressed up to remain cool, he's the only one who's not dressed up for the occasion because he didn't need it! Because he's just that built different! But I want to go after him next. Surely there is no little prerequisites. Maybe there's a little hurdle we need to go after. Maybe there's a little hurdle we need to get over to ensure that the strongest hunter in existence will be converted over to my side. What a jump! That's a jump! So that's happening. Suho went off on some raids, on a little mini raids of his own to get stronger, and apparently later on, Thomas Andre notices that Suho has gotten stronger over the 3 days that they met. If he's taking notice, all like, wait, Laura, how long ago was it since this guy and I met? 3 days. Huh. I don't know what it is, but how is it possible that he changed this much in 3 days? If Thomas Andre is noticing that you're different, I just met you less than 4 days ago. Yet there's something, you've changed even more. You've gotten stronger even more. So there's that! So now you mean to tell me YouTube's playback thing is really weird. So that's one thing. So Suho is already stronger, and you know, Thomas Andre is still trying to flex, telling him, "Hey, we flipped the coin; it landed on our side, so we're gonna go in first." Suho's all like, "Yeah, it's whatever. I'll give you the handicap." Ha! Ha! Does Thomas know that's Jin's son? No, because as it stands right now, since nothing happened in the last chapter for him to get his memories back, he still doesn't have them back right now. See, this is what happens, CDs, when you show up late for the reaction and you don't know what's going on. I tell you, you need to be here! But, no, he doesn't know. I'm messing with you. He doesn't know that Jin's son is Suho. He doesn't know that because he hasn't got his memory back like everyone else has. If he did, Kohagen, that's CDs. Yeah, that's CDs. Yeah. Don't you hate the YouTube handle thing now? Don't you hate that the YouTube handle thing now? Now no one can recognize each other. This is exactly what I was talking about. Now my own mods don't immediately recognize each other. My own mods! Why won't they give us an option to change handles back to usernames? Can't stand that. But getting back to it, so we also have the monarchs whose next objective is to welcome the next heir into their ranks, which is the Frost Monarch. You know, the heir of the Frost Monarch. And Paya's all like, do we really need to keep doing this? I don't know if I have the strength. Will everything work out fine? And Arsha seems to be someone who trusts the system inexplicably to the point where she very visibly was angered that anyone, even someone as young and as, you know, precious and adorable as Paya, would even question the system at all. So there's a weird dynamic here with Paya and Arsha where she's all like, oh yes, we care for you and everything, but if you say anything about the system, she's all like, oh, the system helped me find you. Otherwise, you would be lost and alone in the endless, boundless void for the rest of your life. So it's like, there's there is some child emotional manipulation going on. That is just so shady on Arsha's part. Just literally emotionally manipulating Paya because of Paya's previous place. Arsha is a little bit of a fanatic. Yeah, that's the correct word to use. Yeah, she's a bit of a fanatic for the system because it's allowing her to get stronger. That's the thing. And the thing is, we still don't get a single word out of that one heir in the background with the giant battle axe who hasn't said a single word since he's appeared. So I'm trying to wonder whose heir he belongs to. I hate to accept the fact Suho is going to be more powerful than Jin. I mean, Jin has been constantly building power since before Suho was even born. So I can't say that it's like, oh, he's gonna be stronger than Jin. Suho wants to be stronger than Jin, but Jin is literally leagues stronger than Suho right now, and every foe he defeats, he just continues to get stronger. The dude is fighting cosmic beings. Imagine how much experience he's gonna gain by killing off absolute rulers, absolute beings. How much XP would that give you? I'm just saying. Sure, Suho by the end of everything is probably going to be very, very strong, but it's way too soon to be saying like, oh, he's just going to be stronger than Jin simply because he said he wants to be the most powerful being in existence. It's a bit too soon to say something like that, though. It sounds nice, but it's like, we haven't even gotten to a point where Suho is at a level Jin was by the time Tapas showed up. So it's way too soon to say like, oh, he's gonna eventually get there. I mean, it's where Suho wants to be, but we haven't even gotten to a space where it's like, oh, Suho has had the same awakening Jin did when he was fighting both the Frost and Beast Monarch when his, second heart activated and the full scope of the Shadow Monarch's power officially took effect, and he just trivialized every single person after that. Suho hasn't even gotten to that point. I do hope let me go back to what you said. I think in the epilogue for a Flip-Do, I think in the epilogue for solo leveling, it's very much implied that he has some access to his memories of the old world, but in the same way as Lee Un-suk, if not in a smarter way, because he knows. So maybe he's just enjoying not fully knowing and just wanting to mess with a member of the Sung family once again. I do hope with the whole friendship being set up that Dojin turns to our side and becomes his own person rather than just a piece of Iterem. I mean, that's the thing. It's entirely possible. It is entirely possible because every single time a new fragment shows up, it comes with a different personality, but also different goals for itself. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a fragment that is way more accepting of peace with the Shadow Monarch than, trying to take over the world for the absolute being absolute mustache is what I call the absolute being that sent him there. Who knows? It's like a Doctor Who regeneration. Sure, the person is different, but the mentality and, mentality of the Doctor tends to be the same for the most part. And their ideologies sometimes change just a little bit, but not too much. They're still the Doctor at the end of the day. But in the case of Dojin, maybe the fragment that shows up offers a different perspective on things. Maybe. Who knows? Probably Jin doesn't sit idle too. I mean, Jin has been up there fighting literal cosmic beings. Remember in the special episodes when he was literally fighting planet-eating giants? Planet-eating giants. Just casually. Yeah, they're probably more than likely added to his ranks as well. I mean, maybe so, but I will never consider anyone other than the second piece as part Dojin, and he wants to absorb the following ones instead of being replaced. That's true. That's definitely true. because Park kind of doesn't want to be absorbed. He still wants to remain in control because he had that conversation with Arsha, I believe, or internally to himself, because he really wants to. And one thing about Park Dojin is he's kind of reminding me of how Galactus ripoff. You okay? So I guess Unicron is a Galactus ripoff as well. I guess anything that eats planets is just a ripoff of Galactus. But Cohagen, it's not that they're not Galactus ripoffs because there's more than one that Jin took into his ranks. So having an entire army of planet eaters, yeah, they're probably claimed as well. Timu Galactus. No, Timu Galactus is what we got from Rise of the Silver Surfer with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans. That big old cloud that was supposed to be Galactus, that's Timu Galactus. I still gotta watch the Fantastic Four First Steps movie. I know that's out. I haven't watched that. I haven't watched Thunderbolts, and I gotta watch them. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does turn good, that we end up failing to stop the next fragment and instead dies in a way that actually hurts Suho. It would be really good to have Suho lose that. Maybe. I want to ask, will they mention Ashbourne's old shadows? Like, we know of Beru, Igris, I know Bellion is one of them, but there was that one shadow, he looked dope. He had a ponytail with 2 swords. Are you... You're not... He had a ponytail with 2 swords. I don't think Liu Zhigong was ever turned into a shadow. Because there's a character who has a long ponytail, and that's China's 5-star hunter, Liu Zhigong. But he was never... I've seen Thunderbolts, trust me, you didn't miss anything good. Oh, okay. He was in the flashback. Really? Hold on, let me look up some shadows. Let me see. He was in the flashback during the war. Okay. Give me a sec. I'm trying to remember as well. When I find the picture, I'm going to send them to you. Okay. Let me see. Shadows. I'm dying to read the light novel because from what I understand, that's a different continuity that comes from the Ragnarok manhwa. Yeah, it's always different between the light novel. Always different between the light novel and... I don't... this is when Ashbourne revealed who he was and talked about everything. I'm looking at Jin's main shadows. We have Bellion, we have Beru, we have Igris, we have Tusk, we have Greed, we have Jima, we have Iron, we have Kaisel, we have Tank, and then temporarily we had Kamish, we had the Ant Queen, and we had Min Myung-gu. Those were temporary. But maybe I need to go to Ashbourne and see if there was someone with him. I don't see... I don't see... Hold on, let me look this image up as well. Let me see. He was in the flashback in Ashbourne's story. Oh, don't worry, you said so. This is when Ashbourne revealed who he was. It was in the flashback in Ashbourne's story. Don't worry, I remember you said so. Maybe it's Ashbourne's... No, like, it's not just different, it's canonically before the manhwa. From what I've been told, the third Suho that Suho fights in the end of Season 1 was himself from the light novel. What was the chapter when Ashbourne revealed himself? I can't actually remember. Let me see. who apparently has a different class than the one we have in the manhwa. Okay, I'm looking. The only person that comes to mind that had like a long ponytail, and it's not Igris though. It's not Igris. I'm trying to look up. Yeah, I'm looking it up. Which chapter was this? Light novel, chapter 128. It says chapter 128. Hold on. Hold on. Let's do a little digging here. Okay, solo leveling. Chapter 128. 128. Okay, let's see. The answer is within you, within me. The choice is yours. And this is when we get the memories as we go back in time and we see like this massive war that's going on. No, is this the right one? Is this the right one? And we just have Ashbourne slashing through the rulers. No, this is his first reveal. 128 is his first reveal. And him basically just crushing everyone. Off the top of my head, I can't say that I remember who exactly this is. Who this person was that was with Ashbourne back then. I wonder if my cuz I got the web book. I got the books. You're bad. It's the elf ear one, but there was another one. Huh. I wonder if my books, if I actually got the book, I might need to get the other volumes cuz I'm missing some. Let me see. Like this is the last volume that I got. I need to get the rest of them. No, this is not it. Yeah, I don't think this is the one. Yeah, I don't think this is the one where he goes back to the double dungeon. No, this is the volume where the orcs attack Jinna's school, and then Jin shows up and then proceeds to body all of them, and then it ends. It ends with a giant gate opening up in Japan. So that's the last I saw. That's the last I saw. So I can't remember. I'm sorry. I'm just detracting from the entire chapter itself. But I can't remember who that person was with Ashbourne. I'll have to look it up later. But getting back to it, what we have now is Suho and company have now crashed inside of this gate. And Suho's wondering just what happened because he's just laying out in the snow. Mind you, he doesn't have a single scratch on him, even though the plane crashed. The plane is completely and utterly destroyed. We don't see anybody else. And now he's in this frozen tundra with the snow elves, more likely, and also those bears as well. More than likely the same bears that Jin decided to farm when the area turned into a double dungeon when we were in Jin's first timeline the first time. So now Suho is here, Park Dojin is here with the intent of trying to take Thomas Andre. And my thing is, if Thomas Andre is there, he's fine. It's not like things are going to be able to just jump Thomas Andre like it's easy. Thomas Andre is also him for a reason. So I am not too worried about Thomas Andre, but should Park try to do anything towards Thomas, that should be interesting in whether or not Suho will intervene to keep anything from happening. Whether or not he exposes himself as an apostle of Itarim, or what, remains to be seen. I don't think he will, because that could ruin everything he's been doing thus far and put a target on his back and make things even trickier for him to build up an army to rival Suho's. So that's something. But at the same time, it should be interesting to see what Park Dojin is going to do, since there's so many S-rank hunters that are currently with him, that are currently with all of them. Trying to get Thomas Andre alone, first of all, you're going to have to be incredibly confident in your capabilities to think that you can take on Thomas Andre. I know I'm hyping up Thomas Andre, but he's literally the only person to go up against Jin full strength. And Jin had to pull out some of the stops. I won't even say he pulled out some of the stops. Jin was actually kind of fighting just a slightly more serious than he did when he was beating up on Dongsu. Deserved beating, by the way. But here, I honestly feel... Welcome back, Flip2. Yeah, I had to... sorry, I went off on a whole tangent trying to find out who that person was standing next to Ashbourne. I even looked at my... looked up to... I only have up to 8 for the comic for solo leveling. But I don't have the one where it shows Ashbourne's story and he's talking to Jin and Jin fully wakes up yet. I still got to get that. Jin was serious, but he was not putting in any effort. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I want to say he was serious, but he wasn't. But it wasn't like, oh, I need to be serious like I was with Baron back then. Oh, I need to be serious as I was with the architect back then, you know. So it was more so like, I'll fight you seriously, but I'm still going to win. So seeing how things will go down with Thomas Andre in Park Dojin's crosshairs, and whether or not the star drop has a threshold it needs to push past in order to work against an S rank, or if the power of an S rank, depending on how much they have, if that could be a good counter. I think Suho and Thomas are a lot closer here. Jin was a total landslide. Yeah, because Jin walked away from fighting Thomas Andre without any scratches. Thomas Andre had both of his arms broken. I want to say, didn't they say that Jin pretty much broke almost all of the bones in his body, but didn't leave anything that could be fatal? If I'm remembering the conclusion of that fight, Thomas Andre was hospitalized and all of his whole body was like basically bandaged up because Jin broke him everywhere, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, it is definitely closer here because Suho has had less time to become as powerful as Jin than Jin did when his fight with Thomas Andre started. So there's that. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing what'll happen if Park tries to get Thomas Andre, and if the star drop itself has a threshold it needs to get past in order to fully consume an S rank and put them under Park's control, or if the power of the S rank has a way of counteracting or even negating, or even making an S rank more resistant depending on the level of power that they have. Because that's one thing I'm curious about. We just saw, because the thing is, if that's the case, then that means that the physical state and perhaps even the mental state of an S rank has an effect on how well or how poorly a star drop does to the affected S rank. Because if that's the thing, then it would stand to reason it's no wonder the star drop worked on Lee Yun-suk because he was, not mentally fit. He was not physically fit. He was majorly depressed, so his mind was already susceptible. But I don't know if that's actually a key factor in a mental state and physical state of the individual who's an S rank can affect how well or how poorly a star drop can move. I don't know. I'm just making wild assumptions here on the extent of the star drop itself. I don't know. I'm just making assumptions. But it should be interesting to see what next year offers for Ragnarok, because this is the last chapter of Solo Leveling Ragnarok for 2025. And also, this is the final Saturday of 2025, because the last day of the year is this upcoming Wednesday. And that's going to be fun. But interesting chapter, I will say. Interesting chapter, I'll say, because we have the heirs of the monarchs who are making their way towards the gate so that way they can take the heir of the monarch over to their side. We have Park Dojin, whose next target is Thomas Andre, and Thomas Andre is there during this raid inside of a gate where no one from the outside can see in. So there's that. We have Suho, who's looking to bring down this gate because it's literally his big quest for his system. And for the life of me, I can't believe we've been teased about the return of Cha Hae-in, and all we saw was just her returning with Kaisel, and we haven't seen her since. Remember when that happened? But yeah, a lot of things going on in the story, and I'm quite interested to see what the year 2026 offers for the story as a whole, and then see where we go from there. But it would be funny if we get a fight between Thomas Andre and Suho while we're in the middle of this raid, and we get to see just how much stronger Suho has become in 3 days in comparison to Andre himself. But overall, we're just gonna have to see how things go. Yeah, we're just gonna have to see how things go. And see if Suho is up to the task. But give me a sec. Family's calling in. All right, I'm back. Any plans for today? Really need your entertainment? Oh yes, there's going to be a session where I'm playing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora with my sister. She's going to be providing commentary as well as I play. So that's going to be something that's going to be at 2:30, and that'll be the big. Might want to cover your mouth, bruh. I know you can read my lips. I don't care. I was talking about food. I wasn't saying anything that required a secret. I know you can read my lips. But I don't need to cover it up if I'm talking about food. It's only when it's personal stuff, and I know you in chat that I cover my mouth, Mr. Lip'em Rita. I'm sorry. I'm really excited. I want to see Suho unlock Thomas's full memories and give him Shadow Gear. I think it would be an absolute shame if he's taken over from a narrative perspective. You're not wrong, because I'd hate it. I would absolutely hate it if Thomas Andre got taken over and he never got to get his memories back. I would absolutely not like it at all. Let's see. I think this arc has massive potential for a Dojin and Suho's Naruto Sasuke type relationship. It does. It actually does. You can only read lips if you're concentrating. It's part of your trait. I know. you know, you know I gotta mess with you. But I would hate it if Thomas Andre gets taken over and he's just a big bad we have to overcome later on. And he gets taken over so soon after he gets introduced. See, Lee Yun-suk, I mean, it's like, it's an S rank. Okay, Lee Yun-suk. Okay, all right. But Thomas Andre, of all people, getting taken over, I would hate for that to happen. And I think this got brought up. Your sister's about to be here. Y'all finna cut up? Yeah, we are. But one thing I want to say, Flip, is, and this has been brought up before, I would really like it if there's a way to counteract the star drop. If there's a way to counteract the star drop, if you have like a Shadow Gear item on you. I don't know, maybe residual power from it makes it so that it's difficult for the star drop to affect the person. I don't know. But that's something I would like. That's something I would like as well. To see if it's a possibility. Because even if his memories don't get unlocked, maybe him having a shadow item, maybe that could be a way of counteracting star drop, or maybe that's just a way to counteract it completely. I don't know. But I would like for that to maybe either be confirmed or maybe even denied in the story, not by you guys, later down the line. Because maybe that could be a way to stop Park from taking over people without having their memories returned. Or maybe having your memories returned allows you to be resistant to it in the first place. I'm just throwing theories out here. Maybe. But we'll have to see. But there is potential here. I also don't know where he is, but I hope Iron joins this raid. Aw, I want Iron there too. All we have is Beru. All we have is Beru at the moment. But I would very much like Iron to be there too. Just his overall eagerness to please and just being this big lumbering... He's like a big lumbering bear that wants to be I won't say wants to be appreciated, but he loves looking good in the eyes of his master. So it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting. It would be cool. A little piece of brilliant light is still left in Thomas. These are things we're probably gonna have to wonder about when Park tries to make a move on Thomas. Iron is a hunter right now, I think. Right. Kim Chiul is still alive, but didn't Kim Chul run into Jin when Jin was like a teenager? I want to say. Yeah, when Jin was a teenager and reliving his life. Wasn't Kim Chul like a teenager? And he had like this brief moment of all like, why do I feel chills when I'm confronting this person? And I think this was back when they were running track and field in school when Jin was younger. It would be interesting if Kim shows up. I had thought that you were just talking about Iron the Shadow, not Iron the original person. But it'd be interesting if he shows up too. Maybe. We'll have to see. You have a question? By all means! Yeah, but the second cataclysm hadn't happened yet. I assume he's a hunter nowadays. True. Who knows? Who knows what Hunter Kim is doing currently at this time? This phone stand is so great. Thank you guys for sending this to me. It is really useful. Because all this time for the past couple of years, I've always propped my phone up against my Switch here on my desk. And now I have an actual phone stand where I can position it however I want to, and it feels so good. How would you feel if you did that, reliving that life? Do you mean like the world resets and I relive and I just go through it again? I mean, what would be the perks other than having knowledge? Other than having knowledge that would just benefit myself? Like, do I get a system of my own? Do I get to enjoy like leveling up and becoming stronger, or is it just like reliving my life over again? I think the only benefits that would happen would just be like, I would just have knowledge of all the way up to like 33 years in the future. That's it, though. That's the thing. Eh. I mean, reliving would help me sort out some mistakes I definitely made in my past. But at the same time, I don't think I ever want to go through elementary school again. Elementary, all the way up to high school, and then deal. I don't know. You likely would never know anything happened. Maybe the world has reset already. Eh. I. How would I feel? I would feel like it depends. It actually does depend. Because I would hate to relive my life knowing full well that I would have to wait 30 something years. Regression with Qushu, my favorite anime. But you a Shadow Monarch though? Okay, so now that we have a setting, and I have power, I would definitely live a life where I'd be able to live a life of ease, but my family would as well. But there will also be the disappointment that I would have to wait 30 something years in order for the Switch 2 to become real. I would have to wait 20 something years in order for the PS5 to become real. And reliving my life would mean that I would have to relive life without being a YouTuber. So, reliving life from the beginning all the way up until now, YouTube won't be a thing until much later on in life. And then I would have to do everything over. Like, I would hate to attempt to redo the good things I did by chance the first time without knowing if I can actually do it again. Yeah, I feel I would lessen so many crimes immediately. That's something you would want to do with the world, but at the same time, would you say that things that you've learned how to do now, special experiences you've had now, would you say that they would mean more to you had you not known how to get through those situations? Or would you say, oh, it worked out better because I know how this ends, so I can prevent that from happening? Would you feel content knowing the end result? Like, that kind of robs you of a little bit of wonder here and there, wouldn't it? Oh, I know how this ends, so I'm just going to prevent it from happening. And then just steer things in a more peaceful... And I understand that there are advantages to that, but would you be content with knowing how some things end and you do your best to prevent it, but it doesn't give you the same experience you had before? Why'd you have to go there? Why did you have to go there? You need to be ready for my rebuttals. You need to be ready! If things could happen a certain way and you didn't know, think about the matters that happened and you didn't know about it, but it made you a better person. Would you go out of your way to prevent these moments from happening and therefore changing the course of your life because those things don't change you? So is it kind of selfish in a way? I wouldn't say selfish, but when it comes to these sort of things, you really need to think about all the aspects of it. Yes, I could relive my life, but then the experiences that I fully enjoyed without knowing what could happen in the end, I now know the ends to. So now that sense of wonder is slightly gone because you now know how some of these outcomes happen. And you can avoid things because since you're reliving this life, you're reliving it all again. And you're also saying you're the Shadow Monarch too. You got all this knowledge, all of this power. So those experiences that you had no way of knowing, that could have changed you for better as a person. Now you know how they end, and now you're just coasting through it. These are some things you gotta think about a little bit more. There's a lot more than just surface level stuff. There are things I did that actually gave me opportunities. I honestly can't redo those things with the knowledge I have because that affects the performance. Exactly. Me not knowing how to do YouTube caused me to grow as an entertainer. Because before I did this, and who knew this would turn into like who knew this would turn into like an introspective? Before I started doing YouTube, I suffered from stage fright. I didn't like to put myself out there. I didn't like to have an audience, and I didn't like for all eyes to be on me. Got into my church's band at my mother's behest, and I learned to get more used to it. I learned to have a stage presence that allowed me to get in front of multiple people at my church, not care about the eyes, and just do what I was supposed to do up there, which was at the time play my saxophone. And then I got used to it until it became second nature to me for me to be able to get in front of people without fear of stage fright, because I'm scared of what people will think if I mess up here and there. And yes, I have messed up loudly sometimes, but I kept going. From that experience, I've learned to be okay with people having eyes on me. And then, when it translated over into YouTube, there was still a little bit of hesitation due to the fact that it's people all over the world, people who are freely able to say whatever they want. You suck. You suck. You need to stop. Many years I had to go through people telling me that they don't like the voice that I have. Don't say anything, stop talking. And because I'm trying to watch this anime episode, I'm like, this is a reaction. I can't just have the episode up here and I'm not saying anything. That would be boring. Or, your voice is boring, don't sound like this, or you sound like this, or you sound like that. Those experiences came from not knowing the outcome of where I would end up in life. And many years later, I'm here. This is my full-time job now. I left where I was before because I saw the potential I could have and the impact I could have on people's lives doing what I love to do. If I knew from the beginning that this is where I would end up, then my entire mannerism going throughout my life would be fundamentally different. Oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, because in the future, I'm gonna be a YouTuber. Like, having that predestined notion in your mind about where you're gonna end up in life just seems so boring to me. It's more exciting not knowing. That's life! At least that's how it is to me. Imagine I joined Roger Base's community with the knowledge that I am his friend now because of my already closest to him in the community. I'll likely be received terribly, possibly banned, and then that derails part of my life. Then you wouldn't know me. Yeah. So there's a certain beauty in not knowing anything that just makes life seem so much more full. Because if you know everything as a human being, then that just takes away from the experience. And I like to experience things. So for me, I would not relive my life at all. Because the life I have right now, I would not trade it for anything. The family I have, greatest family in the world, I would not relive life knowing different things about them as I've grown up with that knowledge. And then just feel like, well, they're going to behave this way in the future. I don't want to have that predestined notion towards my family. I don't want to have that predestined notion towards my friends. I don't want to have this predestined notion towards people who watch me on here or people I know on the outside. I like living life as it goes without knowing what the future may hold, because that allows me to cherish today, every single day. So I would not turn back time and relive my life again, even with the power of the Shadow Monarch. I wouldn't. Now, I'll take the system where I can level up and do different things. I hate it because I don't know. I have that anxiety that if I don't do things right, everything will not turn out the same way as it did originally. Exactly. Right, but what if it's forced on you? What if it's forced on you and you want to get back to your current life? I don't know, that's how I think of it. That'd be horrifying if you are forced to relive your life and you have to go through those years of your life all over again. All over again. That would be horrifying. Because then you would have to go through your life again, no choice, and you have to catch up. You have to go back to your life. But imagine, I'm 33. Imagine me being pushed all the way back to living my life all over again. And in order for me to get back to where I am in life, back to the present, back to right now at 1:16 on the 27th of December in the year 2025, I have to endure all of my life all the way up to this very moment. That would be a drag to me. Regression anime is horrifying conceptually. It is. It really is. But where we are right now in Solo Leveling Ragnarok, let me get back on topic here, is we're in the gate. That's exactly what happens in every regressor in manhwa. Yeah, it does. It does. Or isekais too, and they just accept it. Yeah, they just accept it. Huh, I'm in a brand new world. Well, what if you're just walking down the street, preparing to go home, and then all of a sudden you get isekai'd in a brand new world, and you're just living your life there? What about your family back there? See, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. Have we ever had a series where we cut back to the people in the present day after the main character has been isekai? Do we ever check back on them to see if they're doing all right? How their lives are going after the person's been isekai? No! We don't really focus on that all that often. There's just so much about getting isekai'd or getting regressed into a previous life or an alternate life, and we don't even think about the people surrounding the other individuals. Yes, there's only one. Is it the one where it's the uncle who gets isekai'd and he comes back to his home and he's there with his, what is it, niece and nephew, and there's this one elf that goes back with him? Like, my uncle got isekai'd and came back. It's the one where he has glasses on. Uncle from Another World. That's it. That's the only one that comes to mind when it cuts back to the lives of people in the world after someone's been isekai'd. But that's the only one. You don't see that trait all that often. But yeah, too long, didn't read. I wouldn't want my life to be reset. I'll take the system so I can level up and do different things. I'll take that. But regressing? Nah, I'm good. But where we're at with solo leveling right now is we are now inside the S rank gate. Thomas Andre is the next target of Park Dojin. Suho's wondering just what the heck happened. And now we also have the heirs of the monarchs who are making moves inside of this S rank gate as well to get their hands on the elf heir, the heir of the frost monarch, so they can join their ranks before Suho can get to them, because Suho's whole big job, his whole big quest is for him to get the heirs of the monarchs to join his side. So now it's a race against time to see if Suho can get to them, or the heirs of the monarchs can get to the frost monarch heir beforehand. Not only that, but they also have to defeat the boss of this entire dungeon and close the gate before there's a dungeon break in the middle of Korea. So there's a lot of stakes that are kind of up in the air right now. So 2026 ought to be very interesting to see where the story goes from here into the future. But that's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. I know this turned out to be like a bit of a longer session than it normally tends to be. Yeah, than it normally tends to be. But I am grateful for the conversation that we had. I'll see you guys at 2:30, depending on when, or it really does depend on what time the family does get here, because for my sister to be a part of the stream, I'm going to be doing a little bit later on. I want to make sure that she's, well rested and everything before we get started. But I'll explain more when the stream actually starts. But to everyone, if I don't see you again next week, because this is the last Solo Leveling Ragnarok chapter of the year, I just want to say it is an honor and a privilege to be your entertainer. Whether you're new here or whether you're one of my regulars, I just want to say how much I appreciate you guys for everything you've ever done for me. All of my mods, all of my regular viewers, all of my members as well. I greatly appreciate all of you, and I hope 2026 is an amazing year for us all. I'll say this again during my final video of the year, but I just thought I'd let you guys know. But to everyone else, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. Oh, and check out the Patreon if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. and because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!